Hello everyone, I am Leah and welcome back to my library, and today we're doing yet another book haul. But it's going to be a bit of a smaller haul today, not that that's saying much. I have one unboxing and a bunch of really cool new books, so stay tuned to see everything that I got. First up, we'll start with this unboxing from Bookish and Spice. I have been waiting a little bit of time because I knew that this was going to get delivered today. So now that it has just been delivered, let's open it. This should be, straight away, I believe this should be one of the dark romance sub-books. It might have been one that was delayed. I don't know, they've had a couple of delays, Bookish and Spice. But at this point, I can't remember which ones I have and haven't received, but you know, opened up the first layer. We have the book information card, and the book this month was A Fiery Little Thing by Avina St. Graves. And then, like every other month, we also have the pin. That's what it looks like outside of the plastic. I keep all of the pins I receive from Bookish and Spice in a jar, which I think is a pretty cute way to store them because they're kind of difficult to store and I never know what to do with them, and now I have so many. But they're a special feature that I really like in this book box, and yeah, it's just beautiful. They always match the book. All right, next layer, we have the bookmark. I really like the character art here. And then finally, we have the book itself. I really like this dust jacket. The edges are super cool. I'll take it out in the plastic in a second so you can see it a bit better. But yeah, I like this dust jacket. I like the stained glass sort of design. I think it's really pretty. Go. That's what it looks like without the plastic. Okay, this one's really cool. The reverse dust jacket. I really like the character art. I really like this naked hardback. It is like an interesting material. It kind of feels like kind of like leather on a handbag almost. That's what it feels like, and it's really cool. Very lightweight as well, which is nice. Very cool. And then yes, I love this character art on the inside. I think it's so pretty. This one as well, gorgeous. I don't really know anything about this book, but I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing if I like it. All right, next we have a new release pre-order paperback. This just came the other day, and it is Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is the sequel to Bride. I'm very much looking forward to this. I have seen some people I follow on Instagram have started reading it, but I haven't heard any like thoughts on this book yet. But I will stand by, and of course I will reserve judgment for my own read. But I am hoping that this will be just as good, if not better, than the first book was. I did really like the first book, but I've read so much like Omegaverse that I guess I just sort of wanted more. So I'm interested to see if we get a little bit more of that side in Mate, now that Ali's readers who have never been involved in that trope before might be a little bit more comfortable with it. So we will see, but I'm hoping that this will be good. I have been a big fan of everything Ali Hazelwood has done this year. In the past, I've been sort of like ambivalent to her works. I did read The Love Hypothesis back when I first got back into reading, when I finished my bachelor's degree, and I really liked it, but I wasn't really too compelled to pick up some of her other like feminist romance novels. But then I heard really good things about Deep End at the beginning of this year, so I read Bride, of course, when it came out, and then yeah, this year has been like a winning year for her. I read Deep End and I loved it, and then I also read Problematic Summer Romance, which I didn't think I would like, but I ended up loving. So very hopeful for Mate, because I feel like Ali's like really found her rhythm this year, so fingers crossed. This next trilogy I am so excited to show you, and I have been so excited to receive it since whenever FairyLoot made the announcement that they were doing it. So this is like yet another nostalgic special edition collection that I have picked up. You might have noticed from some of my other videos that I have been sort of picking up a few different like nostalgic from my teen and tween years series in special editions, because for some reason they've all been coming out this year. And this one I actually have like a paperback elsewhere in my book collection that I picked up from like a secondhand book fair a few years ago, just out of like, I bought that out of nostalgia because I loved this series when I was a tween. So these are the FairyLoot editions of Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. and these are stunning. I knew I had to get them the moment I saw them. I really haven't seen anyone talking about this special edition set. I thought it would be really popular, but I don't think it was, and people haven't been showing off. I think it's stunning, so I'm gonna go into depth of these ones with you guys. So this is the first book, Unearthly. It's the dust jacket. We have this wings design on the side, and it's just solid spray top and bottom, and it does like line up in a bit of a design with the other books, as you can see there. So already beautiful. I love all the gold foiling that FairyLoot does, but it's actually the naked hardcover that I think is the prettiest part of this edition. So let's open her up. They are so beautiful. So stunning. And then we have really cute character art in these editions as well. I really like it, and signed by Cynthia Hand. And then there's the reverse artwork, Fond Memories. And then this is book 2, Hallowed. Again, so stunning. I remember everything that happened in Unearthly really well, but I don't really remember what happened in Hallowed and Boundless, but I'm going to reread them for sure. Again, the naked hardcover is the prettiest design I have ever seen on a special edition. Stunning. And then I believe the same artist for the character design on the inside, which I also think is lovely. And then finally we have Boundless. I really like this design on the dust jacket. Again, edges. And my favorite part, look at that. It's so stunning. Character art. Ooh. Character art, so sweet. And that is what the edges look like all lined up. So yeah, that series is definitely like going on my favorite special editions I own list because it is stunning. They're so pretty. Continuing on with the young adult theme, this is the latest LitJoy crate to be read box that I have received. And the book I chose of the two options is Fateless by Julie Kagala, because I had a hard time picking for this month actually, because I really liked the idea of both books. The other option was The Sea Witch, I believe, and I thought that book sounded really intriguing, but I had heard good things about Fateless, and yeah, of the two I just decided to pick this one up, and I'm really glad I did, because I don't really like the special edition they came out with for The Sea Witch in this book. So I got Fateless. I'm really glad I did. I also ordered the page overlays as an add-on. I actually had a dream about this package like before it arrived to me. I had seen someone else's video where they were showing their edition because they had picked The Sea Witch, and after I watched that I had a bad dream that I opened my to be read box and inside was The Sea Witch instead of Faded, and instead of the page overlays I ordered, they were just a bunch of anime stickers. So dream analysts, tell me what that says about me. But speaking of the page overlays, the art is really pretty, but they're too big for the book. I'll just show you here. If I were to place and perfectly line up the page overlay, you can see it's sticking out at the top. They're too big. So yeah, that is definitely annoying. The art is nice. I think when I put the page overlays in, I'm just gonna have to deal with it essentially. But we'll take off the dust jacket and I'll show you the rest. I do really wish that LitJoy with the TBR box would start doing reverse dust jacket designs. The dust jacket they do is also always just some sort of like recoloring or reiteration of the American trade covers, and I typically prefer the UK trade covers over the US trade covers. And yeah, I just wish they sort of like do what FairyLoot do in their monthly boxes, where they'll have like a recoloring of the trade as like one side of the dust jacket, and then they'll have character art or some other cool design on the other side. But no, they just they don't do reversible dust jackets. And then kind of like their edition of Sea Witch, I'm not too impressed with the naked hardback even, but I think it's better than the Sea Witch one. And I do really like the edges, so that's sort of where it redeems itself. I also think the art in the book is really pretty, so that saves it too. And then that's the art on the reverse. I am contemplating cancelling my LitJoy TBR. Part of me doesn't want to because it's a relatively affordable book box and it's only quarterly, and at least you get to pick from between 2 books. I think I'll keep it for the next month that's coming out because I do believe I liked one of the picks quite a lot, and then I'll see what the picks are for the quarter after that, and based on that I might cancel. So we'll see. I do still really like a lot of LitJoy's editions though, and I will like continue to buy from their pre-order sales and stuff like that. While they tend to take a lot longer than some other companies, the quality is always really high. All right, it's a bit late, so this shouldn't be a spoiler, but I'm gonna preface spoiler warning for the FairyLoot September adult book, which I have right here. 3, 2, 1, this is your last chance. The book in September was Alchemised by Senlin Yu. And when I saw on Autumn's Instagram page months and months ago that this was the prediction for the book, I was so excited. I have manacled saved in my Kindle and I've not got around to reading it yet, but it sounds right up my alley. I was very excited to read Alchemised and see how it's been reworked. So very excited for this. I like the design, but like many people, I was a little underwhelmed. The main thing that underwhelmed me is not the edges. I think the edges are fantastic. I'm not the biggest fan of this dust jacket. It's nice, but I just sort of wanted more. I feel like you shouldn't like the trade cover more than you like FairyLoot's design. Bright side, they do provide a red recolor of the trade on the reverse. So I am contemplating reversing the dust jacket. See, this is why options are nice. But it is cute, the dust jacket. It's growing on me. It's just sort of not the vibe I thought they would go for. And then this is the naked hardback, which I love. I do really love this element of it. I think it's fantastic. I really like the edges. I think some people wanted them grittier, but because of the size of the book and from everything I've heard about the contents of the book, these are appropriate edges, if you know what I mean. So I think they're really cool. I like them a lot. Also, something that makes these worth a lot of money is they're also hand signed, which is appreciated. And then here we have the end paper art. I think it's beautiful. And then on the reverse, now that I've reversed it, I actually like the other one better. I'll reverse it back. So yeah, that is Alchemised. Very happy to own this copy. All right, now the rest of the books I want to show you I have to pull off the shelf because I've had them a little bit longer. First, we'll start here in the epic fantasy section. We have another book from the Broken Bindings fantasy sub. It is the second book in the Rebecca Roanhouse like Black Sun series. So this is book 2, Fevered Star. Really like the high gloss dust jackets. I think they're really cool. Edges like match up perfectly with the first one. I think it's going to show like a full moon cycle when the design is complete, when the third book arrives. And then the naked hardback is very similar to the first one in design. The Broken Binding always has really beautiful end paper art, and that is that one there. I've not read this series yet. I really don't know anything about it, but I have heard when I briefly googled it that it is like heavy on political intrigue, if I'm not wrong. So that's exactly what I love. I am a political intrigue girly. Then we also have, please move aside, Sword of Kaigen. These 3 beauties here, which are the Farseer Trilogy by Robin Hobb. I'll show you these one at a time. These are from Illumicrate and they're stunning. This is the first book, Assassin's Apprentice. And I love like the design that lines up on the side for these. But the most stunning aspect of these books, I think, is the naked hardback. Wow, it's a trend for this video. But let me open it up and show you. It is even more stunning in person, but the art is just beautiful. And then love the end paper artwork as well. But there's just something about the clarity and the finish in these hardcovers that I haven't seen in a lot of other editions. Unfortunately, I don't know who the artist for the naked hardback design is off the top of my head, but they're extremely talented. And however Illumicrate went about printing these, perfect print. Book 2, Royal Assassin. Again, really beautiful design with the design edge that lines up to form a greater picture. Beautiful naked hardback. End paper. It is so windy here today. We have high wind warnings, so I'm sorry if you can hear my front door like rattling a little bit. It's just, there's nothing I can do. Finally, we have the third book in the trilogy, which is Assassin's Quest, and this one is hefty. This is a big book. There's that one. And that. And that. I knew from the moment Illumicrate announced this pre-order that I had to get them. I'm so very glad I did because I think they're beautiful. Sort of, again, you may return to your position. What next? I think I have 2 more items to show you. Well, depends how you count them. 6/2. First, you might have seen this around. It is the Twilight 20th anniversary edition. It is such a beautiful design, but the super duper cool thing about this book is that when you bend the gold gilded edges, you see Ms. Bella, and when you bend it the other, you get Edward. Yeah, I don't know, that's pretty cute. And then in the same vein, we have the Twilight Saga Deluxe collection with all the books except The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner and the gender bent Twilight. But Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, and Midnight Sun are all in here. I really love the box. It's got Bella and Edward in the flower field on the back. And then I'll just pull these out and show you the covers. So this is Midnight Sun. I quite like simple designs, but I like them. And then the edges have these stars. Twilight, New Moon. This might be like one of my favorite of the dust jackets. Eclipse, I also quite like this one too. And this one is probably my least favorite dust jacket, but it's Breaking Dawn. So yeah, I believe that is everything I had to show you guys since the last book haul. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to subscribe if you are not already. Leave a thumbs up because it really helps push my videos in the algorithm and it would be a huge blessing upon me. And if you're so inclined, leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite of the editions I just showed you is. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and I hope to see you again. Bye!